There may be calls for a ceasefire, but we're not seeing it here. In fact, the conflict is widening beyond the Gaza Strip. Palestinians were protesting, violently clashing with Israeli soldiers in the...
Good evening, Palestine, Malaysia, and around the world. As we all know, Palestine has captured global attention on the news front. As the bombing continues, innocent victims, including many children, have lost their lives. We have heard from political figures, activists who talk about what's happening in Palestine and in Israel. But what do ordinary Palestinians have to say about what's happening? We want to hear from the ordinary people what it's like. So tonight we are very lucky that we have with us Mr. Habib Butrous, who's a tour guide in Israel and the Palestinian territories. He speaks excellent English. He speaks Arabic and Hebrew. He studied the English literature at Bethlehem University and went to Terra Seta College in Jerusalem. Welcome on board, Habib. Thank you so much for spending your time in this situation. Okay, can you share with us what is the situation in Palestine now?
Now, as everyone knows that during the past 10 days, 2 weeks, we had a round of tension and violence.
Okay.
According to the Palestinians and the media, this started, as you know, during the month of Ramadan, which is a holy month for the Muslims, when the Israelis tried to evict a couple of Palestinian families from their homes in a neighborhood called Sheikh Jarrah. And also they used to put, the Israeli government asked to put barriers at the Damascus gate to prevent the youth from sitting on the stairs of the Damascus gate. And these two issues were mainly led or were the spark for this last round of violence that we are witnessing here in Jerusalem, in Israel, and in the Palestinian territories and Gaza Strip, of course.
Do you have any relatives or friends staying at the West Bank and those occupied territories?
Yeah, I have friends actually that live in the West Bank, just like in Bethlehem.
And how are they? How are they? What's their lives then now like?
In the West Bank, you know, sometimes the Palestinians are calling for a demonstration or a day of anger. And they go to the hotspots.
Okay.
Now, in Bethlehem, the hotspot is, of course, the Rachel tomb. And this is where you have the barrier, the wall, the separating wall that separates Bethlehem from Jerusalem. This is where we have also, you know, the watchtowers and all the tension, all the throwing stones, the Molotov cocktails, the tear gas, the rubber bullets, the live bullets are shot over there at Rachel's tomb. And this is the main hotspot in Bethlehem, because it's also near one of the Palestinian refugee camps in Bethlehem, one of 3 Palestinian refugee camps in Bethlehem.
When the airstrikes happen, whether it's in the daytime or in the nighttime, how do Palestinians cope with the bombing? What do they do when they hear the sounds of the bombs and attacks?
This is actually an ironic question, because, you know, for the Palestinians, and this is what they say, that right now they have nothing to lose. As you may know, especially on Gaza, because in Gaza, this is where you have the bombings and the airstrikes from Israel. And, you know, in the south, in Israel, this is where the rockets usually hit when they are launched from Gaza Strip towards mainly the south and sometimes towards the center. That will be Tel Aviv and what is known as Gush Dan area. For the Palestinians in Gaza, they are under siege for more than a decade.
Yeah.
Poverty over there is above 80. Unemployment, they have the same range. So the Palestinians over there, they say that they have nothing to lose. So it's not like when you have airstrikes in Israel that the Israelis go to their shelters, because in Israel, in most of the modern houses, you have shelters.
I see.
That can protect you during an airstrike, unlike in Gaza Strip where they lack this type of houses. And for the Palestinians, when there are sometimes launching rockets, they go up to the roof to see where these rockets will fall.
Oh, okay. So when you talk about bomb shelters in Israel, are these public bomb shelters, or are they shelters built in individual homes?
It's actually both.
Okay.
According to the Israeli law, right now it's a requirement. When apartments or houses are built, there should be a room that is mainly made from full cement. So it's totally with special arrangements or special measurements. It will protect you from rockets. And of course, you have in the public areas, public shelters that will be used by pedestrians, by people that are walking outside in the streets, doing sports or any kind of work. They can use these shelters. In Palestine and Gaza Strip, we lack such public shelters from any kind of rockets that are launched or fell in Palestine or Gaza Strip.
I have some friends who lives in the West Bank, which will basically include some former students who studied in Malaysia, and they have gone back home. And they told me that they were having difficulties trying to reach me because of the breakdown in internet connectivity. And they say that even 3G does not really work down there. So they told me that communications have broke down in many parts of West Bank and Gaza. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. In the Palestinian territories and Gaza Strip, they don't have mainly 3G because simply Israel controls that.
I see.
And sometimes, you know, there are you give me this, I give you that, and that's why the internet in the Palestinian territories is is not that good. 3G, it's not popular, or it's expensive, and also you don't have competitive companies, unlike in Israel where you have a couple of companies that provide you with 4G and right now with 5G.
I see.
So in Israel you pay for the 4G or 5G as you pay in the Palestinian territories for 2G or 3G.
Okay. So Habib, given the breakdown in communications, the bombing and everything, how do people in the Palestine area, how do they earn their living right now?
Right now it's hard. It's one of the toughest time that we are facing. First of all, because, you know, for the Palestinians and also the Israelis, after the corona virus, a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And all the savings that they have, they try to spend during this difficult time. And right now you have this war. So that's one of the toughest times that we are facing here in the country, in the Holy Land.
Is it correct to say that many of the Palestinians, especially those in the biblical areas, okay, like in West Bank, you have the Bethlehem, for example. That's where the Church of Nativity and Mangle Square is located, where Jesus was said to be born in that area. And of course, you study at the University of Bethlehem. I watched on TV that the place has become a streets of stone throwing between the Palestinian protesters and the Israel security forces now. First, it was the COVID-19, okay? A lot of religious pilgrims could not go there. Now you have the heavy fighting over there. How are these biblical sites, how are they been affected?
Especially in Bethlehem, as you know, most of the people depend on tourism.
Yes.
And for the past 14 or 15 months, they had zero tourism. So the people, especially in the Bethlehem region, they are suffering.
Okay.
They are really suffering there. The situation sometimes, we know about some families that they barely survive.
Okay. During the nightfall at night, do you have electricity or are they cut off?
No, in the West Bank, in the Palestinian territories, they have electricity, unlike in Gaza Strip, where they have electricity only for 4 hours a day.
4 hours. And what time is that?
During, the daylight.
And has there been water disruption too?
Yes. Because, for Gaza Strip, Israel controls everything. It controls the sea, the land, and the air.
Okay. Now, as a tourist guide who specializes in the religious tour, how have you been affected professionally in terms of income for the past 1 year, 2 years?
As an Israeli Arab tour guide, that's affected not only me, but all the guides that work in this field. But at least on the Israeli side, the Israeli government decided to pay us 75% from our income, because in Israel we pay a lot of taxes. And right now we are getting back some of what used to be deducted from our taxes and our social security, unlike in the Palestinian territories, where they lack these things that the government, unfortunately, they don't give the Palestinian tour guides any money to live from that from their job, let's say.
Habib, I've been watching some of the media coverage, okay, including those in Malaysia. There's a lot of misconception, okay, and preconceived ideas about Palestine and Israel. Many Muslims assume that all Palestinians, or most Palestinians are Muslims. I know that's not correct, because there are many Arab Christians and there are many Palestinian Christians. Can you share with us about this?
Yes, because as you may know that here, when you talk about the Palestinians, especially for the Westerns, they think that all Palestinians are Muslims.
Okay.
And this is 100% not true, because Christians were in this land before the Muslims came and took this land. So as a Christian, my ancestors were from this land. And here we have, you have to know that we have an existence of Christianity for the past 2,000 years, that people are not aware of the local Christian Palestinian or Israeli citizens in this land. And that's why sometimes they call us as Christians as the living stones.
Okay.
Because when let's say tourists come, we talk about the life of Jesus. We try to bring back the stories that we have in the Bible alive to them. And that's why for lot of tourists, when they come, and especially when they meet with a Christian tour guide, they will tell him that my life have changed. So this is a changing experience for me that we have never had.
In your case, you're an Orthodox Christian, right?
I'm a Catholic, actually.
A Catholic, okay. All right,
Yes.
all right. The majority of the Palestinians, Christians, what denominations are they from?
In the land here, there are just like around 15 Christian denominations. The most popular Christians are mainly the Greek Orthodox, the Catholics, and the Greek Catholics. They are known as the Melkites. Those are mainly the main Christian denominations that we have in the land here. Plus, you know, you have the Baptists, you have the Lutherans, the Syrians, the Copts, the Ethiopians, the Evangelical. So you have around 15 Christian denominations here. And keep in mind that Christians in both Israel and the Palestinian territories and Gaza Strip, we are only 1%.
Okay.
So as the Christians, we are, let's say, as Arabs,
okay,
we are minority.
Okay.
And as Christians, we are minority within this minority.
Okay. Habib,
because yes.
In your experience, in many years experience as a tourist guide, what are the most misconceptions that pilgrims have asked you about? What is it that they find it very surprising in your experience?
Now, mainly Western tourists, they think when they think about the struggle between the Israelis and the Palestinians, they think it's a struggle between Palestinians and the Jewish people.
Okay.
And this is totally not correct. Because the struggle over here is between the Palestinians and the Zionists.
Okay. Yes.
Because there are a lot of Jews in the land here that they are pro-Palestinians more than the Palestinians themselves. Because they defend the Palestinian case, they defend the Palestinian rights and everything here.
And that misconception will probably come from Muslims as well, right? They think that it's between Palestinians and Jews.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would you agree to say that the situation has become much more tense in Palestine and Israel, because that in Israel the right wingers have become much more powerful, which is why there have been reports of right wingers beating up Arabs in the streets?
Yeah, this is actually a mutual. So in mixed cities, Jews are attacking Arabs, Arabs are attacking the Jews or the Israelis. The right wing in Israel is becoming stronger and stronger. And simply, if you look at the news, and it's, I think, universal thing.
Yes.
When you look at the news, you see the bad things that the news is telling you about.
Yeah.
Because this is their main aim. Let's say when they show you a Palestinian demonstration, you have hundreds of people that are demonstrating against the war in Gaza and Israel. You have thousands of people that are staying home and would like to have peace. And it's the same situation on the other side. You have extremist Israelis that are attacking Arabs, but you have also a lot of Israelis that are asking for a coexistence between the Arabs and the Israelis.
Okay. That's okay. Habib, you know,
yes.
How would things work out over the next 1 week, what are people from the region expecting? The Palestinian, the Israelis, the bombing has not stopped. There's been calls from the international community to have a ceasefire. We know that this kind of things has been happening for decades. It's not the first time. It's been going on for many, many years. Do you think that over the next few weeks, things would cool down once all this bombing has achieved its aim?
Yes, this is what we were expecting, that we thought that by the beginning actually of this week, both sides will reach a ceasefire. But just right now in the news, the Israelis do say that rockets were launched from the north, which means that could be from Syria or Lebanon.
Okay.
And right now we are a little bit confused. Is there will be there another war with the Hezbollah, Lebanon, or Syria, or are the Israelis going to retaliate? So there are a lot of questions about how Israel is going to do and let's say to react about launching these rockets towards the north. And towards the north, I mean that will be towards the Upper Galilee,
Okay.
and the north could be that because rockets reach Akko.
Yes.
That will be near Haifa in the north. So we are waiting to see how Israel is going to respond. But hopefully, we are hoping for a ceasefire, so things can get back to normal.
Habib, I've been to Jerusalem. I've been to the West Bank areas I've seen with my own eyes, and I've experienced some of the things that Palestinians have gone through. And of course, over the years, I went in 2005. Of course, much has happened. Okay, but the issue of Palestinian and Israel has always been a question of land. There's insufficient land. There's land grab. There are settlers. It's always fighting over land because it's so small. So sometimes my Malaysian friends ask me, why are schools, hospitals, why are they located so near? So I tell them that that's because land is so scarce and so small over in West Bank. Now, can you share with us, for people who have never been to your place, what it's like to live in such a narrow and congested piece of land?
This is one of the toughest questions, although it seems so simple, because you know that the historical land of Palestine, or what is known now as Israel, is only around 27,000 square kilometers.
Okay.
The West Bank is less than 20% of this size.
Okay.
And people over here mainly would like to live in cities, and those cities cannot grow more due to political reasons. Let's say that Israel will not allow, because you know that the Palestinian territories, especially after 1993, when the Oslo Accords were signed, the land was in the West Bank divided in area A, B, and C. And right now, for mainly the Palestinians, they can build and expand in area A, but not in area B and C. And a lot of lands right now with the Palestinians are in area B and C, and they cannot build in these areas without the Israeli permission.
Okay.
And this also depends on the political situation, because area C, as you may know, it's totally under the Israeli control. And here, when I say under the Israeli control, it means that they control security and the administrative thing.
Okay. Habib, I'm trying to understand what it's really like to be over there. No, in most places, if people think that there's going to be trouble, there's going to be war, there's going to be bombing, most people will just buy food stuff, water, and keep in the home. Okay, they are afraid that if things goes bad, they can't go out. Okay, are people in the Palestine areas stocking up food in their homes? Because of this uncertainty that's coming.
No, I didn't witness anything of this. Most people over here live their normal life. So when they need to go and shop, they go to the supermarket to get their stuff. Because it's the Palestinians get used to this tension.
Okay.
So they don't consider it as a real war that they need to get food, they need to get vegetables, they need to get fruit and store it with water. No. So when they lack a couple of things, they go out to the market, they get it, they get back to their homes, and that's it.
And is COVID something that they are worried about, or is something that's the last thing that they worry about now?
Actually, this is a surprising thing that after this war, no one is talking about COVID-19.
Yes.
Everyone is talking about the violence that we have and the tension that we have in the land.
Okay.
Although you are welcome. Although it used to be the hotline or the hot topics in the news before this round of violence.
Habib, we're going to wrap this up with, I want you to give a message to people who are watching this program, to people around the world who are following closely the developments in Palestine and in Gaza and in West Bank. What is your message to them?
The message is that they should know that we have people on both sides over here that are praying for peace.
Yes.
But here, when you say peace, you need also to give the Palestinians the right to live in respect and give them the basic things for them to live their normal life, and there will be peace.
Thank you so much, Habib. I wish that you and your family would stay safe, stay strong, that our prayers and thoughts are with you and the people of Palestine, and that I hope to see you one day soon and to have you leading the pilgrimage tour. Thank you so much. God bless. Take care.
You are welcome, Mr. Wong. Take care and God bless.
God bless.
Bye-bye.